switch it. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's turned on.
This one's turned on.
Shabbat Shalom. This one's turned on. We're just going to move this. No, it's a different one. One more time. Try this. The suspense, you're all waiting to know. Will the microphone work? Oh no. Can we suspenseful music, please? And if I could see the button. Shabbat Shalom.
Is it working? Hold on.
No, I used that already. No, I did that already. This is to see if the cantor and I work well together.
Was that this?
That was that. Okay. Test.
I guess you're tethered to a wire.
I'm tethered. Okay. So we'll worry about this, yes. Just be careful.
Yeah.
So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I know that we don't need a microphone for us here, but for the folks at home who are watching this on Facebook, we want to be sensitive to their participation in services. So it is nice to see everyone here. Cantor Aronoff, with your kind permission, I am going to move a little closer so I don't have to stretch. There you go. And it is good to see everyone here. We want to wish Landon's family a big mazal tov and congratulations. It's nice to see you all here. You can see your smiles, even if your smiles are, because all of your cheekbones are rising. So it is the COVID-19 sign of smiles, which your masks are lifted, as your spirits are going to be lifted by seeing Landon call to the Torah tomorrow. And so I know that this is a hectic time to gather, frankly, a hectic time to be with the world around us in such tumult. And we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow with sirens and people experiencing suffering. And so it's nice to have a good reason to gather. So Landon, I guess we want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to celebrate this simcha. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. We get him a shoulder rub and we get him warmed up. And he plays the piano beautifully. Do you know that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. So we have sort of an eye on you. We know what we want you to do post bar mitzvah. But in order for us to make that separation between the schmutz of the outside world and all of everything and Shabbat, our time of sanctity, we have Kabbalat Shabbat, which kind of helps steer that transition. So I'd urge everyone to please turn to page 11 and 12 as we sing. Let's sing a nigun first. A nigun's a wordless melody. Then turn to page 11 and 12 and just sing along with the cantor.
Ya la la ya na na ya la la la, I la 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 la. La 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 ya na na, I la la. I na na ya la la, I la la. I la la ya la, I la. Ay ay ay, ay 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 ay, ay ay ay. Ay, 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 nai, 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 nai. So that's how it goes. There's two parts to this nigun. And all you have to do is sing la 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 or ay 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 or oi 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 or whatever moves you. All right. Once again. Ay la 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 la. Ay la la na 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 na. Ay la 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 la. Ay na 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 na. Ay na 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 na. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay.
And we continue on page 11. Page 11, L'chu Naranana.
L'chu Naranana l'Adonai, Nari aletzor Yishenu, Nekadma fana b'todah, Bizmirot nari alo, Nekadma fana b'todah, Bizmirot nari alo. Ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher beyado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo asher beyado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo asher lo yaviu asa u'v'yemeshen yadam yadam u'manishtav v'yichrem Arba'im shana akut bedor va'omaram to'e levavhem ve'im lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yavo'un el menuchati.
Page 15.
Adonai malach tagel haaretz yismechu im rabim anan v'rafel sevivav tzedek u'mishpat machon keson. Four lines from the bottom of page 16. Or zaru ala tzadik ule yishre lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik ule yishre lev simcha. Simchut tzadikim b'Adonai vehodu lezecher kodsho. Simchut tzadikim b'Adonai vehodu lezecher kodsho. Yanai yalai yalalalai yalalalalalalai yalai lai yalalalai yalalalalalalai. Yalai, yalai, lai, 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 yai, nai, 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 yalai, lai, 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 lai.
Page 19.
Adonai malach yirgezu ambim, Yoshev kiruvim tanu ta'aretz. Adonai b'tzion gadol v'ram u'golamim yonorim ha'gadol v'norim at the arrow on page 20. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
And we now summon the Shabbat bride, now that we've made that separation between all that rest of that crazy stuff and the world of Shabbat, which is a world of rest. It's a world of centeredness. It's a world of fulfillment. We bring in the Shabbat bride and we say, Boi v'shalom, may you come in peace. May you come whole. And God willing, the world will also be restored to wholeness and peace in the coming days. Lecha Dodi, page 23.
First, I want to tell Rabbi Schuldenfrei, because he doesn't, well, I don't know if you know this. The first tune I'm going to use is written by a guy named Peter Levitan. Have you met Peter Levitan since you've been here?
Yes, I have, I think.
I don't know which mic that is.
We're going to put this down.
Step away from the microphone. Right. Anyway, Peter Levitan is a very talented guy in many ways, and one of the ways is that he writes some music. So he wrote this Lecha Dodi that I'm going to start with, and then I'm probably going to go into another one, which we call the Kol Hanshama Lecha Dodi. So we are going to, you know that one? Yep. A lot of people do know that one, but more people should get to know Peter Levitan, so we'll just sing it.
So hang on to your hat, we're going to sing a lot. That's the bottom line.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmianu el ha'meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'li'ila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'melacha, merosh miket nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. This is a little annoying, but we're going to go on. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzei mitoch hafecha. Rav lach shevet b'yemek habacha, ve'u yachamol alayich nichemla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד איש בן ישי ותלחמי, קרבה אל נפשי, נפשי כעלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, איי, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר על תפילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, איי, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמשוש חתן על כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, איי, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, אוי, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, בואי ושלום עטרת בעלם, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, אוי, 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
We can be seated as we continue on page 27, מזמור שיר ליום השבת.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות, להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשם לשמחה עליון, טוב להודות, להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמחה עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי אסור ויעלינה וליגה מה גדול מה שכר נקום. din wunderseva de shenim v'rananim yiju leagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlata bo.
So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm going to borrow this.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're trading places. Actually, we could just share. I can just. I know. We're doing the best that we can. Landon, I'm sorry that you can't frighten Landon on his bar mitzvah.
Stand right more.
There we go. I think it was the thing that bothered him. Okay. So we're happy to have you. The sages discuss how do you start Shabbat, right? Because we know that Shabbat actually is something that just starts. Whether or not you acknowledge Friday night as Shabbat, it is Shabbat and it starts. And what's the sign that Shabbat starts? Sunset, right, exactly. So in the evening, it is Shabbat. Good job, Landon. We'll call you up to the Torah tomorrow. Okay, good. But let's say now the sun is not yet set. It is not technically, we wouldn't have to start Shabbat. So the question is, what ways could one kickstart Shabbat? Could you start Shabbat early? And so there are several ways. We've engaged in one of them, which is, of course, prayer. Then Landon will enact one later, which is called Kiddush. And then we, of course, can also start Shabbat by lighting the candles. So there are different ways that we as a people can not manipulate time, but how we can add on to the sanctity of Shabbat. And so we did a beautiful job singing, and we are going to hear Landon's Kiddush in just a few moments. But at this point, we'd like to celebrate the other way of starting Shabbat, which of course are through the candles. So we'd like to invite Mom Debbie and Bella and Sherry and Grandma Esther to please join us as we sanctify Shabbat with the lighting of the candles. And we'll invite everyone to please rise. Do you help them with the bracha? Or do you do the bracha with them? Amen. And may the light of these candles be a sign for all of you of the presence of love in your family. You can see how special this is for Grandma Esther, to have your family together. So may these lights, may the light of these candles illuminate all of the blessings in your life, and may they illuminate hope for all of us as we enjoy your celebration as well. And let us all say, Amen. And now we are going to invite Mom and Dad to please join us, along with Landon, for the presentation of the Talit. So Debbie, you can come join us. And we can all be seated. And Landon, come sit over here. I'm gonna stand right here. You know, we don't have a portable mic because it's making horrible noises. So what I'd like you to do, okay, all right, so what I'd like you to do is Mom and Dad, come over here.
I was going to move the mic.
Okay, so
But just speak into the microphone.
stand and look at Mom and Dad. There you go. Very good.
Our beloved Landon, the moment we held you, we knew you were our child.
You smiled broadly, as if to say, I've been waiting for you guys. New, take me home.
We could never have hoped for a more magical, marvelous son than you, Landon.
Your Jewish journey from being dunked in the UJ mikveh and attending Carmel Jewish Day School in Hong Kong, to visiting the Kotel and moving to LA, where Adat quickly became an important part of your life, to this fall, when you'll be entering 8th grade at Milken, has been marked by strength, curiosity, meaningful friendships, and menschkeit.
And now, tomorrow, you will wear this talit on the bima. You really pulled through in spite of being one of the toughest years for everyone. Zoom school, lockdown, a bar mitzvah postponement, and the constant fear of the ongoing pandemic, to name a few of your hurdles. But you, Landon, were not deterred from persevering, believing, and eventually thriving.
So we're so proud of you.
Landon, this talit is yours. It's your bridge to adulthood and thousands of years of Jewish history. May this talit comfort and protect you as you forge ahead on your journey.
May you always wear this talit in good health, Landon. May it forever inspire you to nourish your Jewish soul, to challenge your Jewish mind, and treasure your Jewish heart. And may this talit always serve as a reminder to you of your significant place in the Jewish community. Mazel
Mazal
tov.
tov.
I'm just going to make it a little bit less live.
Okay, thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are walking. We're just hoping, please, microphone. We will, please. What I want to talk about very quickly this evening, recognizing that the microphone is sort of detracting and there's Shabbat dinner and celebration to be had, is unintended consequences. And how do you deal with unintended consequences to respond with love and kindness? It actually starts out with the Torah, because the Torah gets something wrong in this week's Torah portion. It gets something wrong, but the motivation is all right. And what I mean by that is the Torah says, look, we know that loans can become burdensome, that when you are in debt, that can really put someone behind the 8 ball of life. And so how do we respond? So the Torah makes a suggestion. Actually, it decrees a law. And it says that in the 7th year, all private debts should be remitted. In other words, let's say, hypothetically, that Landon owed me some money. Landon, is that true? No, okay. So if Landon owed me $100, if the 7th year comes about and Landon has not yet repaid me, then Landon's debt in that 7th year is canceled. But Landon or anyone else, what would happen as a result of a law like that? Well, first of all, what's the good intention? What's the good intention? What's that? Okay, could be, but think about it. So first of all, what's the intention? Right, so Landon, we don't want Landon. Landon's got Milken Community School to go to next year. He's in 8th grade. He has to buy books. I know I just ordered my son's books. They're expensive. You got to buy a computer. It's expensive. And if Landon's like, oh, vey, I owe the rabbi $100. I can't pay for this all. Landon is going to feel the sting of poverty, and we don't want that. So the Torah says we don't want Landon to be encumbered by debt for the rest of his life. So to ease the burden of poverty, we're going to cancel the debt. However, the question is, why then would I ever make a loan to Landon? Why would I make a loan to Landon, especially in year 6 or 7, 6, for instance? Why would I give him $100 if I know all debts are going to be canceled in the 7th year? I wouldn't make that loan. And that's exactly what happened, that the lending markets dried up because Jews were reluctant to give other Jews loans because they knew that they, the lenders, would be out the money. So the unintended consequence, although the motivation was good, the unintended consequence was Landon actually wasn't even helped. Landon was hurt because he needed the loan. So Rabbi Hillel the Elder comes across with a very creative solution. It's called the Prose Bowl. And this is what he suggests. And it's the subject of a great Talmudic tractate. He basically says, look, private debts need to be canceled. That's a debt between me and Landon. But not public debts. So what we would do then is in the 7th year, to facilitate me still lending Landon money that he needs in order to survive, we would transfer the debt, to a public fund. And the public fund would hold that debt for the year, and then it would kick back to me in order that Landon could then continue to repay me. Some people said, Rabbi Hillel, you're playing fast with the law here. You're changing the law. But Rabbi Hillel said, I'm actually fixing an unintended consequence. What I'm doing is, within the spirit of the Torah, I'm allowing the spirit of the Torah to be fulfilled, which is the easing of the burden upon Landon, preventing Landon from falling into a life of poverty. And I, for one, admire Rabbi Hillel's bravery in actually taking on the Torah and daring to change the Torah, recognizing that sometimes things need to change in order to prevent unintended consequences that cause harm, even though they're motivated by the best of intentions. So my hope and prayer for us as a community as we're sitting here today is that we can look at our lives and we can say, what are the consequences of our actions? How are the things that we engage in life, how are they playing out? And whereas there's time and place for us to make changes, because we realize that what we're doing is not exactly affecting things the way that we would like, that we have the bravery, like Rabbi Hillel, to step forward and to make some changes. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. At this point, speaking of changes, we'll give the blessing of the gifts now? We'll give the gifts now? Do we give the gifts now? Before Kiddush we give the gifts. Okay, great, okay. So we would like to now invite everyone to please rise for the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. I am sorry. There's nothing we can do. Yeah.
Lie, lie, nine, nine, nine. Lie, lie, nine, nine, nine. Lie, 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 nine, nine. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, nine, 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 nine. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, nine, nine, nine. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam. לעולם לעולם ועד. לי 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 לי
We can all be seated as we continue into first bracha.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והיה אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ואמונה כל סוף וקיים עלינו, כי אדוני אלוהינו ואין לו מלך ירנו. היי אלוהים אלוהים אלוהינו הזמנו אלוהים אלוהים ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכהנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות, עושה פלא נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. השכיבנו.
Our evening prayer for peace, page 45.
שכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ובדנו מלכנו לחיים, פרוס עלינו זכת שמך. תקננו בעצה טובה מפניך. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורץ סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Please rise, Vishamru, page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, שבס לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, שבס לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ביום השביעי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, שבס לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביעמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דרכו בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
The Amidah is our time for turn it all off. We're just going to turn.
I don't think the flowers would be doing it. Chulu Hashamayim on page, in A minor. Lai alai anai ai la la lai anai ai na nai ai nai na nai 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 lai alai na nai ai na nai nai anai ai la lai ai lai la lai 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 vayechulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tziva'am vayechulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tziva'am vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa lai anai nai nai ai na nai 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 ai na nai ai lai la lai 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 Yai lai 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 ai la lai 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 ai la lai ai lai la lai 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 Vayevarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto Vayevarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto. Kivo Shabbat, mikol melachto. Asher bara, Elohim lasod. Lai, lai, la, lai, ai, la, lai, lai, la, lai, ai, la, lai, nai, 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 nai. Nai, 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 ai, la, lai, lai, nai, nai, ai, na, nai, 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 nai. You could give me E flat, it's fine. Yikara v'yikara shemei rabbah. V'yamad yivrach yirutevim lichmachutei b'chayechono v'mechono v'chayechono beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv imeru. Amen. Yeshmei rabbah mevorach. Le'olam le'omei omayayid. Yid barach v'ishtamach v'yidpar v'turman v'yinaseh v'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalel shmei nekudesha. Brichu li'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata damiran b'yama v'imeru. Amen. Titkabel tzaloton uvalton d'chol Yisrael. Kodam avuhondi v'shmaya v'imeru. Amen. Yesh lama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Ose shalom b'bromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imeru. Amen.
Okay, we'd like to ask everyone could be seated just for a moment. We'll call up Landon. So Landon, it's my pleasure to offer you these gifts as a representative of our community. There's a lot of great goodies here. We have a kippah and a mezuzah, which is a gift of men of Adat, and we hope that the mezuzah and the kippah that they're placed on your door and placed on your head. Keep the kippah on the head, not the kippah on the door, and the mezuzah on the door, not the mezuzah on the head, okay? And that these are signs of your continuing commitment to your Jewish identity. We also have a gift from the LA Jewish Teen Initiative, which are these nifty socks. So these are a reminder to always pay attention to your feet. And then we also have the book Israel Matters, as well as the B'Kol Echad, which are a gift of our USY. And we also have this great gift certificate, along with an acknowledgement that 2 trees have been planted in your honor in the state of Israel. And we know that you visited Israel before, and God willing, you'll have an opportunity to go again, and that Israel will be a place, a firm, that you feel a firm connection to throughout your life. Of course, Landon, the best gift that we have is not one that we're giving you, but one that you're giving us, which is the gift of your presence, because your bar mitzvah, Landon, is an opportunity to say, here I am, I count, my voice is ready to be heard, and I want to be a part of this community. And Landon, for us, that's a great gift. So now, as a member of our community, it's my pleasure to invite you to lead Kiddush for us. Please rise for the Kiddush.
Don't spill.
It's awesome.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu, zikaro lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Chaim.
I hope that's not wine.
Oh, 40 proof. Grape juice.
Oh, good, okay. And we'll ask the community, Yisha Koach to Landon. Again, we look forward to celebrating with you and your entire family. And now we'll ask the community to remain standing as we turn to page 56 for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים במעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו. נתת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד. אוקיי, נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו לראות מרב ודברי תעקנו לממלכות שלה וכל בני בשר. כי המלכות שלך היא לעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
In love, we recall those who no longer walk this earth, and we are grateful to God for the gift of their lives and for the cherished memories that never do fade. This week, we, as a congregational community, mourn the passing of Ira Eisenstark, who was survived by his wife, Sonia, as well as his sons and his granddaughters. And we wish the Eisenstark family comfort in this time of mourning. On this Shabbat, we also mark the yurtzites of Jeremy Green, Gus Grunwald, Celia Leibovitz, Sylvia Levine, Mary Shapiro, Ellie Bender, Hyman Broder, Ruth Ellen Godfrey Carney, Louis Pechersky, Pearl Roseman, Abraham Shapiro, Shlomo Binnenstock, Chia Binnenstock, Zisman Binnenstock, Tzvi Binnenstock, Gilbert Dreyfus, Salem Fabe, Flora Eisenstark, Sarah Katz, Fred Shapiro, Charles Silverberg, Emily Astor, Isidore Ginsberg, Morton Harris, Joseph Herbert, Shirley Eisenstark, Samuel Kusin, Geraldine Lasker, Ira Mishkin, Zoe Reichmeyer, Erwin Satnick, Anna Tybus, David Albrecht, Harmon Davis, Sadie Greenberg, Charles Ifrigan, Sheldon Shine, Sarah Schlesinger, Margaret Solomon, Nathan Suplin, Martha Wilarski, Yehuda Bender, Ruth Bershak, Paul Borstein, Marsha Franklin, Edward Goldner, Helen Goldstein, Sarah Goldvark, Bernie Sands, Minnie Wasserman, Frank Weiss, and Harry Aitchison, Dorothy Perkins, and Susan Woody. Is there anyone in the community who's either mourning someone or observing a yurtzeit for someone who I have not yet mentioned. And for those of you who are at home, we invite you to write the name of the person for whom you're thinking, to put the person's name in the chat. And Lou Spencer. At this point, we'd like to ask those of you who are mourning or observing a yahrzeit to please rise as we sanctify God's name with the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 58. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayachon u'v'yameachon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O say shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And may the memories of our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort and blessing, and let us all say amen. First and foremost, we want to extend our apologies, especially to those of you who are listening online or watching online for the crude sounds. We were doing our best, and we're trying to figure things out technologically, and we didn't do a great job tonight, so I apologize for that. But overwhelmingly, I think that the music was still beautiful, and the presence of Landon, of you and your family, was most glorious. So we are so appreciative of you being here. It's great to see you, and I know people from Me'arba Kanfota Aretz, from the four corners of the world, are here to celebrate with you, and so we look forward to calling you up tomorrow to the Torah in celebration of your bar mitzvah. That's at 9:30. There's also Tat Shabbat tomorrow, so I'm going to be a little late. I'm going to tell some stories to the kids, and then I'll swing on by right in time for your Aliyah. Is that okay? All right, awesome. And then after services, we're going to be packing backpacks for children of veterans, which is really a beautiful mitzvah. We also are in need of Kiddush lunch servers, so if you are good scooping tuna, then please check in with us. We would love your help for future Kiddush lunches. The North Hollywood Interfaith Food Pantry is in dire need of lots of items, granola bars, toiletry items, cat and dog food, as well as peanut butter. So if any of you have a surplus, please let your actions, the intent of your actions, be actually felt. The goodness of your heart can be shared with others. So those are a few of the things that are going on. I also want to just note that as the high holidays approach, but we are still dealing with COVID, there will most likely be some modifications to what we plan on offering as a community, and we'll keep you apprised of that. We sent out a survey this past week. We're now gathering our information, discussing our options, and we'll be in touch shortly with a more extensive plan. So we appreciate your patience, but your safety is our paramount concern, and we want to make sure that we're diligent about the way we engage this process. Okay, anything else, Cantor? We're good. Okay, so with that, we would like to ask everyone to please rise and join the cantor. The tune will be back from the Nigun for Adon Olam on page 211.
Okay. Let's see, 211. I know I have it here somewhere. Here it is. I think I've heard. Yeah. You know, when you sing it to a different tune, it's Okay, so I want to remind you of the tune. This tune, by the way, is called Nigun, which means a tune, Pogesh Tizmoret. It's a tune that has met an orchestra. Now, we haven't met the orchestra here, but the guy who recorded it had an orchestra. I guess that's why he called it Nigun Pogesh Tizmoret. The guy who wrote it is an Israeli religious, Orthodox, black hat, fantastic musician. I do a bunch of his songs here. His name is Yonatan Razel. So After Shabbos, go to YouTube and look up Yonatan Razel. Some of you have heard me say that before. He's great. So the tune goes like this, to remind you. That's the first part of the tune, and it repeats. And the second part is ay, 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 lie, lie, and that repeats too. So, how does it fit to Adon Olam? 98.4% of all tunes fit to Adon Olam. Not 100%. So here we go. Adon Olam asher malach beterem kol yitzir nivra v'yein nasa bechefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu ove v'hu yiyeh betifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni liam shilo leachbira veli reishit veli tachlit velo aoz vehamizrach vehu eli vechaygo ali v'tzur chevli b'yein tzara vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi b'yom ekra v'yado av kigruchi b'yeit tishan v'ya'ira v'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira Adon Olam Asher malach beterem kol Yetzir nivra le'yeid nasa Bechefzo kol azay melech Shemo nikra Shabbat Shalom.